Thanks for joining us on the Ruby Tuesday for this Wonder Woman review. If you want to win that poster, check at the end. I'll tell you how. You have to live in the UK. Thanks to View Eastleigh and Tom for giving us that poster and looking after us so well. So Gal Gadot has been cast as Wonder Woman / Diana Prince. But before I get into the film, here's a bit about Mrs. Gadot, aka the real Wonder Woman. She was born in Rosh Hayim, Israel, to a Jewish family from Poland, Austria, Germany and Czechoslovakia, and served 2 years national service in the IDF, which is the Israeli Defense Force. She's a martial artist and a stunt woman. In Fast and Furious 4, 5 and 6, she did her own stunts. And to top it off, in 2004, she won Miss Israel. She really is quite wonderful. See what I did there? She's Wonder Woman. She's wonderful. Sorry. Before Wonder Woman was Wonder Woman, she was Diana Prince of the Amazonians. The film opens up in Themyscira, a sheltered paradise island protected by Zeus. A young actress, Lily Aspel, plays young Diana as we get this long coming-of-age training / montage of Diana learning the Amazonian way and how to fight. In fact, the whole sequence plays like an episode of Xena Warrior Princess / Hercules episode, albeit a very expensive episode. Chris Pine is not helming the Enterprise this time, but a German World War I plane, so cue the American pilot scene to end the training Diana scene and further along the plot. Diana learns about the war, which is killing millions, and is compelled to put a stop to it. So off she travels with the American man, vowing to take her to the front, no man's land, where Diana promises to put an end to the war by killing Ares, the god of war, who she believes is responsible for starting the whole thing. Much like Chris Pine's character was on Themyscira, Diana seems out of place upon her arrival in London and quite naive. She knows nothing of the real world. In fact, both Steve Trevor, the American pilot / spy, and Diana are put outside of their characters' comfort zones. This really helps to ground Diana and make their friendship grow and make it somewhat believable. Lucy Davis plays Etta, Chris Pine's secretary, and when Lucy is on screen with Pine and Gal, this really helps to solidify the Wonder Woman character with some humanity. Because Lucy is quite funny and they just really kind of bounce off each other. This leads me to the actual story of Wonder Woman.
There we go. Whoa. You got it? Thanks, Etta. This is easy.
So anyway, after the 45-minute sequence, Diana is introduced to the world that she's been sheltered from this whole time. And she wants to put an end to the war. She can't believe that it's been left this way. She can't believe that the world has been allowed to get to this state. And she blames Ares and man's inability to fight off whatever influence Ares, the god of war, has had on man. So there's this kind of fish out of water tale where the American pilot comes to Themyscira and he doesn't know what he's encountered. It's all very strange. There are people with bows and arrows fighting the Germans, which is weird, and you do feel a bit torn. It's quite a clever little storyline, a way to get the audience liking the characters, wanting them to win, the underdog kind of thing. But that's not to say that the Amazonians aren't badass and strong. So Chris Pine gathers his team. There's a few eccentric characters, but we don't really explore his team other than, so there's a sniper, a Scottish sniper who has a troubled past. There is a chief which whose land has been taken away from him, or his people's land has been taken from him. His name's literally the chief, and I don't know what his character is for, apart from just being there. And there is the guy that can get anything. They don't have a lot of backstory. This was one of my problems with the film, that a lot of the side characters, although this is an origin story and it is about Wonder Woman, Diana, and the companion, the American soldier, there was an amazing caliber of actors involved in the film, and I just felt like I would have liked a little bit more. It did feel like it ran a bit long. It was over 2 hours, and I would have taken some of the middle kind of padding out and replaced it with more character development from the side, so that when you encountered emotional content that you were meant to be engaged with, that you had more of a draw. So there are a couple of scenes where the bad guys, the Germans, are attacking with a sort of chemical weapon. I won't say more than that. A village gets attacked, and there's this moment that Diana goes and sees the wreckage. And I didn't care. Not at all. I wasn't emotionally engaged. And that's not to say that Gal Gadot isn't playing a good Wonder Woman. I think the question you need to ask yourself is, could anybody else play Wonder Woman? Could anybody else replace Gal Gadot's character? And I've thought about it for a long time, and I think the answer is honestly no. Gal Gadot is the first non-American actress to play Wonder Woman, and this really does bring some character to the Wonder Woman character. You know, you had the 70s TV show, which was her costumes was a bit, you know, when the slow-mo are running, her boobs are like bouncing up and down, a little bit tasteless, but that was the 70s, right? But now her costume is really kind of sleek and slender, lends to the Amazonian race. You really feel that she is a strong, powerful woman. At the same time, she's still really beautiful. So I don't think you could have had anybody else play Wonder Woman. But I never felt emotionally engaged with the content of the storyline. So it's your basic... She's trying to find out who she is. She wants to take down the bad guy. And then you lead yourself to the boss, who is obviously the God of War. And I'm not going to say who the character is, because there's a few secrets that if you're going to go watch the film, and I hope you do because it's worth it. With her hand-to-hand combat training, it would have felt to me that you could have gone in for more of the gritty kind of hand-to-hand combat montage sort of thing, rather than big explosions and throwing things at each other, and then you have your climatic thing where good comes over evil. You know, it has to, because it's Wonder Woman. Okay, putting that all aside, was the film good? So you got to understand that DC has been under fire for you know, the last few films. You've had Suicide Squad, which is basically MTV's long music video, and I know there are a lot of people that love Suicide Squad and a lot that hate it. You had Batman versus Martha, or Martha versus Martha, or Batman versus Superman, which was just a mess. And actually, most people would say that Gal Gadot Wonder Woman was the best thing in Batman versus Superman. And then there was the original Superman film by Zack Snyder, and so Wonder Woman is definitely the best out of that lot. It does have some issues. There are some iffy there are some iffy CG sequences with Wonder Woman, where she's jumping through a window and she looks CG. There are continuity errors where she's dancing with Chris Pine and she's holding a beer, and then the next thing she's not, and then the next thing she is. The boss fight, they're fighting during the night. It's definitely night. There's no reference to sunrise, and the next thing we have sunrise because it's a Hollywood ending, and you know, the beautiful orange, and it looks stunning. Now, the cinematography is amazing. And I wasn't sure about the cinematography because the cinematographer did Fantastic Four in 2014, and that wasn't great, but he did do Chronicle, which was amazing. So, breaking down the film, there are a cornucopia of actors that were really underdeveloped apart from the main characters. The cinematography looked great, but was quite Hollywood. The main actors were fantastic, but I didn't quite buy their emotional ties to each other. The story for me was really basic, and I could predict where it was going. So I'm not talking about the origin, because you knew that that was going to happen. She had to grow up. But the meat of it, the middle of Diana getting to know London, and what was going to happen in the middle and what was going to happen at the end. Diana becomes strong, she finds out who she is, there's a bad guy, she takes him on. And I really wanted more than that. There is a little bit of side story going on with Chris Pine's character and his Captain America-esque team who need to take on Hydra and destroy a bad scientist and their poison stuff. But other than that, there isn't enough engaging story. And I know this is a superhero film, it's Wonder Woman, so maybe I shouldn't expect a great story. But actually, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, and that has a damn good story, so I don't know. So wrapping it all up, I actually think the film is good. It opens strong. The montage, 45-minute growing up scene is fantastic. The middle has some great moments because of Diana trying to figure out what it means to be a woman in London and what war is, and she's wrestling with humanity and how far they've come, not in a good way. The special effects were great, as always. They're really good at that now. I would like to see what she's going to do with her character now that we've had the origins in Justice League. And just to let you know, there is no end credit scene in this film. I would have put one at the end to link to Justice League. I'm super excited about Justice League now, well, tentatively, because Joss Whedon is helming the rest of it because of a death in the Snyder family. We're really sorry about that, but I do have faith in Joss Whedon and his capabilities. If you'd like to win that poster, do let me know in the comments below. Like, comment and share, and you can win it if you reside in the UK. Yeah, so I would give this a 4 out of 5 for the DC universe and a 3 for a standalone film.